Hi students, this is the second module of fitting the chines. Now we already got this end to fit, and it fits really good. You might want to take a close-up look at this. It's sticking up 1/4 of an inch all the way along here on this half of the boat. And this joint came out nice. That's a real tight end of this joint. You can see in here, it's tight against there, it's tight against the top, it's sticking up 1/4 of an inch. That's the last cut you saw us make. Now, after we did that, we marked this. We made a mark on this boat, right here, right behind this poster. We put a line on the side of the boat, and we named it Chine Line. And we made a mark on this frame, on this chine, and we labeled it forward. That's the forward end. We're going to fit this other end, and you can see it's sticking out the boat by 18 inches too far, down here. This piece is too long. We're going to cut this joint to fit as good as that one, or better if we could. And once that's fitting and 1/4 inch up, we're going to put another mark on the chine. And it'll be, I'll tell you exactly where it'll be. The distance this is sticking out too far, it'll be that far from this mark. It'll be here somewhere, another mark. And that's how we'll know how long this chine is. The distance between these two marks is how much we have to cut off this. That's it. So let's pull this out and cut that in after we get figure out all the angles. So we're going to take our, remember what this is called? Bevel gauge. Take our bevel gauge. We're having it sticking out on the top a little. We open it up a little too much. We hold it flush on the top of the boat. Slide it down. And it'll hits the stem. And when that angle is, I don't like it. I'm going to do that again. Open that up. It opened up a little too far because there might be a little epoxy that it's hitting against and not really the stem. I just want it parallel. That's it. That's our joint. We're going to mark this over here so we can keep this. Draw it on the side of the boat. Right there. We already drew it. That's our angle. That's one of our angles. Remember, these are compound angles. The other angle is this angle, going across. Hold this flat down. I'm going to hold this. We can't have this tipped up or tipped down, and that's easy enough to do if it's flat on this plywood edge. You slide it down. I think that's it. Don't bump it. I'm going to also mark this on the side of the boat so we can copy it. If this changes or we don't like it, we know where the starting point was here. The starting point was here, and we can change it. We've got it. Side of the boat. All right. Now we're going to take this chine off the boat. This is a little tricky because it's stuck down in this notch. It's sprung like crazy against the side of the boat. It's squeezed in place. I'm pretty sure we can do this. Usually you have the students are helping, and you're not here. So I'm going to do this myself. We'll see how this goes. Take these spring clamps off. You know, the A-clamps. This won't come straight up because the angle, it's too long on the bottom. So I'm going to have to slide this whole chine that way. One of the tricky parts will be not getting splinters doing this. See how easy this slides. And not at all. I'm going to let that go down a little. Loosen this up a little. Try this again. There we go. All right, now we have it on the other, tucked on the other side of the stem. Just going to try to pull this out and release this. Oh, it's talking to me. I don't like that. I want this to come up without hurting me or the boat. Maybe I'll take this off completely right now. Bend this in. Lift this up. There we go. All right. We have our angles and our bevel gauge. Yeah, like I said, usually there's 6 or 8 students, you students, helping me do that. It's easier with a bunch of hands. Make that a whole lot easier. This is the chop saw, the compound miter saw. This piece is too long. The chine. I'm going to mark it like I've cut it about there. I already had those angles set on this saw. And it turned out it was on the back end of the boat, the stern, it's 44 degrees. And the angle, the other compound angle was about 3 degrees off of square, off of 90. That's it. All right. This is on. Here we go. Nice. That should fit. We'll see. You remember earlier, we already glued a scarf in here to make this long enough to be your chine. See that long joint? You can sort of see the difference in the colors of the wood. Long, sloping, 1 in 12 scarf joint. All right. So we'll get this end in down a little too far. I'm going to do this not way too far because we have to slide it, and it really doesn't slide that easy. That could be held right up a little higher, up sort of where it goes, like right there. This will go in that notch. And this can maybe tuck on the other side of the stem like I did it the last time. Like that. There we go, down into the notch. All right, what's happening down here? So far, so good. Now, this whole piece is going to have to go that way. And what I did the last time is I put this clamp on here to try to keep it from springing out. What I did was I made a big angle, made the back end wide, brought this down like this. Just to keep it from springing out. And I put some plywood in here to keep it a little bit wider so it doesn't, it allows this piece to slide, hopefully. Another piece of wood in here. Whoops. All right. There we go. I don't want to clamp this piece there because it has to slide. And I'm going to be pushing at that end and try to slide it down. And as it goes that way, this is going to come up. See if this will slide. Not yet. It's tight in here a little bit. I don't think it's tight in there. Let's try to pull this. No, it's not going yet. I don't think it's this clamp. I really don't. I think it's tight here. I could maybe put a clamp on here and pull and really be able to get a grip on it, on the clamp. Like this. If I mark the bottom of this chine, you won't see it. It's all getting knocked, that 1/4 inch sticking up is all getting knocked off. And there'll be the bottom of your canoe will be covering it too. Let's see here if I can pull this. There we go. That moved quite a bit. That moved too much. But easy to go the other way. I can tap on this end with a mallet. Here we go. That should be sticking up about 1/4 of an inch. That more? I went too far. Let's see here. What happened down at this end? Went a little bit too far. Ooh, nice. Okay. Time for the spring clamps. Put a couple of these on. It looks like that's really parallel. That's going to be good. I'm going to tap on this end and try to stop before I go too far this time. Nice. Got a 1/4. We're sticking up 1/4 of an inch. That end's tight. Nice. Nicely done. All right. Remember the last step? Making that mark. This is where the algebra comes in. Don't be afraid. It's hands-on algebra. You don't have to remember any formulas. We've got a mark on the side of our boat over here where it says CHINE line. I labeled it because there's a lot of marks. All these marks are layout lines for the boat, but this is the CHINE line. And here's the one for the forward end of the boat. This is the one we need to mark for this. We'll take this combination square, have a little bit sticking out like that. I wonder if we want to go down a little into this. Yeah, we do. That's about where it's going to end up, flush here on the frame. That's good. So we have our 1/4 inch. We get over here. We'll get it on the CHINE line. That's it. And we'll square this across the bottom of the CHINE. Can you see that? That's it. And this is the stern. Forward, we'll say aft. A-F-T. That's the aft line. Going aft. So, you're wondering where the algebra comes in, right? I know you are. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are whiz kids at algebra. This is how easy it is. We're solving for the length of this piece. It would be really hard to measure this piece because it's compound angle on one end, compound angle on the other end. It's a winding curve. It's bent. It has to stick up 1/4 of an inch. So it'd be real hard to measure with a tape measure. I'm thinking it's possible, but it would be tricky and it would be hard and it probably wouldn't be that accurate. But now we have these 2 marks. That's how much too long this piece is. So if I measure, I'm going to measure from the end of my tape, and we're going to get more accurate than that. And I'm going to come down here. Oh, we got lucky, it's not a fraction. This piece is 14 inches too long. You see that? I'm going to turn this right side up, so maybe it's easier to see. Put the end right on that line. I'm going to come down here. It's still 14 inches too long. But I want to make sure, I want to be precise. So I'm going to put this 1 line, maybe I'll put the 10 line right on that line, and that's now accurate. See those lines line up? You see that? And I'll come down here. Am I lined up? 10. All right. It's a little bit different. It's 24 and a 16th. But we're burning 10 inches. we're not going to count these first 10 inches. We'll call that burning 10 inches. So 24 and a 16th minus 10, 14 and a 16th inches. We need to cut 14 and a 16th inch off of here. This will fit perfect and stick up a 1/4 inch the whole way. We solved for x, the length of this piece. And we used algebra to do it. X equals the length of this piece minus this 14 and 1/16 equals the length of this piece. That is algebra. Practical algebra. Hands-on algebra. Algebra that makes sense even to me, not a math teacher. All right. Stay tuned for section number 3 of this module, Fitting the Chines.